What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are here for the next installment of the Suburban Paranormal podcast. As I said, I will be launching a new website, and I said I was going to do it on my birthday, which is yesterday, as of 2 hours ago. But I do have the website. I am almost finished working on it. I did want to get it complete this weekend, but I've had multiple issues with my cars. And I have not really had a chance to get much done on that. But the website is coming, and it's coming very soon. Other news. Myself, like I had mentioned, I have another person that I'm starting to do a lot of stuff with. And one of the things, I guess I will go ahead and put it out there. I think I did mention this already once before, but on the last update. But the CE5 protocols, we are going to give them a shot. I am going to give this an honest-to-God's go at it. Myself and my partner, when he's ready to announce and how we're going to do that is coming soon. But anyway, we went out the other night, was it a week or two ago? And I think we're going to go out probably next week as well and give it a shot. We went out. It was freezing cold. I think it was 20 degrees outside, so we stayed out as long as we could. But I took a couple cool pictures. Didn't really find anything. We did have one interesting experience. We're not really sure what it was. It sounded like ducks, but not really sounding like ducks. It was an interesting noise. So what it was, we don't know. But it was pretty interesting, right? First time out, and we have that happen. We weren't by any bodies of water. I believe I'm going to double check a satellite image from where we were. But so that is going, right? So there again, we have lots of cool things in the works. I know I've been talking to a lot of people recently, and I hope a lot of you guys have made it over to here to check out the podcast. I've recently had someone share a UFO experience that I met. If you guys don't know, I do ham radio, and I've been talking to some people on there and had some experiences shared with me regarding UFOs, especially not much ghosts, but a lot of UFO stuff. So again, a lot of things in the work. Trying to see if any of these people would like to come on the podcast and give a talk. We'll see. I don't want to get too far into possibilities, but again, lots of stuff going on. I know last year I had people cancel and things like that, so I'm hoping we don't run into that again. But I do definitely want to go over a few things. But again, I guess... like I said, I wanted to show... Oh, I'll show you this. Told you we were working on equipment. Phone's being used tonight. But, Nikon D7500. Right there. There you go. Nikon D7500. The wife has been getting more into photography. So we decided to not go crazy expensive on some cameras, but a nice camera nonetheless. Probably going to start filming the podcast with that as well. Just did not complete setting that up. The office area has almost been completely shifted, where hopefully either the next video or the video after that, you should be seeing a completely different background. Again, a lot of stuff coming. We'll see what happens. But anyway, let's move on. We do have, there's been plenty of stuff in the news, especially with UFOs. But as always, we like to go over a couple different things here. So let's take a look. First thing up, we got a little bit of ghost news, surprisingly, considering the time of year. But there is all of the current shows. I know Kindred Spirits, Ghost Nation, and them. They're all out there. I will admit, I just recently have not time to watch any of them. I know I used to give updates on the shows, but unfortunately I have not. So I'm going to try and binge those maybe this week during work, and I'll give some updates. But for those of you that have watched the show, you'll know Ghost Adventures, I remember specifically. I don't know if any of the other shows have done it, but I know they've done this this house right here. The owner of the haunted house reveals its dark secrets. This is the ancient ram's head. This is out there in Gloucestershire, England, where I believe Zach had a possession, I believe. They had the one person come out with them, and they went up into the one tower. A lot of stuff there. So apparently there's been more stuff coming out, more stories. So found that pretty interesting. One thing here that was really interesting to me was the 500-year-old mummified cat found within the brick walls, which is supposed to ward off evil spirits and things like that. So pretty cool. This is really all I could find. Again, on this Unexplained Mysteries, we're gonna be doing some digging for new sources for this information, but that's something I want to get into at the end of this episode. So anyway, that's what I got for the ghost news. So we're going to get into the cryptozoology here. This one is interesting. So for those of you watching at home, you can see, but for those of you that are still just listening, which is fine, but please come join us on YouTube. Come check out some of the cool pictures and videos we show, right? Anyway, Loch Ness monsters has always been considered to be a plesiosaur, which is a long thing ago. But, yeah, it's an extinct dinosaur, right? It's apparently, though, plausible that it isn't. And the reason being is there's this Dr. Paul Schofield from New Zealand that a recent study on these... it's a recent study on the Elastosaurus, or Elastosaurus. I don't know how to say that word. But which was a type of plesiosaur. It indicates that their head can only be at the same level or below the level of their bodies. And as it states here, and for those listening at home again, every time we see a picture of Loch Ness, right, it's usually you see the body and then the head way up in the air. Well, Plesiosaurus is apparently going to do that, or at least this type of them. So, it's possible that it is not a Plesiosaurus. So then, what it could be, you don't know. But apparently, with this new study, it cannot be a Plesiosaurus. So I found that interesting. So the question would be then, right? What would it be? If it's not a Plesiosaurus, then what other kind of, aquatic type prehistoric creature could it have been? It could be its own thing, right? At that point. So I found that pretty interesting. Now we'll go to this one. There is a monster, quote unquote, Loch Ness monster in London Lake. And for those of you that are seeing this, it still shows the same thing where, the Loch Ness monster's head is up. Now, this is miles away from where it's normally at. But the guy took a picture of it and then has said it's a tree, right? So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see some of these pictures pop up. And they claim that it's Nessie. And then now you got this guy that was like, oh no, that's not the picture, but it's a tree. The clickbait articles bother me, but I get it. But what I wanted to get to is how many of these pictures, right? Because it's not all the pictures, and the reason I'm showing these back to back, and please follow my logic here if you can. And again, you can call me crazy. You can say I'm completely wrong. I don't know, right? This is all up in the air. We see lots of different pictures of Nessie. They're not always with the head up, but a lot of the times, it's their heads up, right? So, can we then now discount any type of picture where it's looking like the head's higher than the body as a tree or something else and not Nessie, and we only focus our time and attention on those where the head and body are possibly level, maybe the head's only up a little bit, to try and weed out a lot. Now again, I mean, the whole thing with the head above the body, maybe it's not 100% true, but if that's what the research is, does that allow us to sort of have another way to scrutinize pictures or video in that matter, right? So I don't know. I was curious of what anybody else thought of this. You know, if they're saying that the head couldn't go above, apologize. If the head can't go above the body, then are all the pictures we see of the head above the body false? Right? Are they actually trees? Do we have an explanation? Trees, branches, whatever. Are we getting an explanation for these sightings? Now, I still believe Nessie exists. I still think there's no way to say yes or no. So I'm curious what anybody else has on this subject alone. But Cryptozoology here is something that actually popped up in my own backyard. So there's been a mysterious animal that was found in Pennsylvania. And you can see it here in this picture, and there's a small video, and I'm going to play it, a clip of it. Try not to get that copyright strike, YouTube. I just want to show something interesting, right? So they said it looked like a dog, says it looks kind of like a wolf. I'll go ahead and play the clip, and obviously we're going to make sure it's muted. But they don't know 100%, and this was queued up. So here it is. You can see it. Eyes are blinking. They are working on getting some DNA and gene sequencing done on it to find out. Now, this looks like just some kind of malnourished dog at this from this angle, from this point, in this one picture. But they've been feeding it and things like that, so it's gotten a little bit better. The eyes look more doggish. It's got the long kind of snout. This woman right here, she's mentioning she thinks it's more dog because it's timid, but I found it kind of interesting because could it be, and that was another thing Nate had mentioned, could it be a kind of hybrid between like a dog and a wolf, right? Which would be really cool for that kind of stuff to happen. So I'm curious if anybody's seen this. What you, as always, I'm always curious if anybody sees this stuff, and if so, what is your opinions? You know, drop me a message on Facebook, drop me emails, suburbanparanormal@gmail.com, or on the YouTube video. Send some comments. You know, let's get the conversation started. We're gonna get back to that in a minute. But again, I thought this was a pretty cool possible either new hybrid of animals that had occurred, but I guess we'll see. They did mention, yeah, it's a dog, coyote, or something else. They did mention the gene sequencing stuff, though. I think it takes about 2 weeks, maybe 2 months, around there, when they're actually going to get it back. It's gonna be some time, so I'm definitely gonna follow this. And again, it's in my local news, so I'm hoping I'll be able to come up with something really good on it, and soon. So we're gonna jump over to another local story in the UFO realm. And apparently, and I think this has a video, yes. So, over the Atlantic Ocean, this is actually from, you can see here, September 16th, 2018. These YouTube videos. I don't know if people can't understand basic audio whatever, right? But anyway, here is the video, and you can see it kind of goes in and out right here, right? It's going super fast. It's glitching. I'm just letting people watch. So it's not a long video, right? It's like it's a 30-second video. But we'll play it one more time. It seems to be a fast-moving object that comes in and out of the field of view. Now, the other problem you have is they upload in poor quality. And I've mentioned this many times before about poor quality. Now, what happens with these poor quality videos is when the video is trying to get interpreted, or whatever you want to say. I don't want to say the wrong word. But what happens is the camera, as it's trying to interpret that data, the object seems to be moving in and out of the frames, and possibly dropping due to misinformation. I don't know what they recorded this on, but it's interesting. So when you read the article itself, it was reported to the FAA. They thought it was a set of balloons, but it was possibly kind of copying them. And then that's when one of the passengers had recorded the video. The pilot said it looked like an antenna, and that it was circling the plane, which, you know, when something's circling a plane, you're going to call the F, or you're going to radio in, you're going to figure out what's going on. They do think it could have been possibly a drone. It's pretty big to be a drone. It is New Jersey, though, and not to offend anybody, but it's New Jersey, right? I live in PA. It's a PA, right? People could be doing this. If they're doing it, it's wrong. The shape of it, and again, just the quality of the video, it's not really clear. But I did want to bring it up because it was another story in my area. But again, this was captured back in 2018. And I did do some looking around. I haven't seen or heard anything else related to this story. So, but I did want to show it because, again, it's more news to, you know, just to take a look and see what people are talking about. The last little bit I got here, and again, we're going to try not go too long, but a former USAF nuclear weapons technician is coming out and speaking about his experiences, which was pretty cool. Whenever, you know, you get these former airmen or army or whatever they are coming out and talking about them, they're going to have more credence, more truth to the story. I always feel, at least, right? So he was reporting that he saw some lights hovering above the top of a tree line and thought it was a star maybe at the time, but it just stayed there, right? So the more he thought about it, it kind of bounced around in the sky a little bit. But then the way it shot to the left and then went 90 degrees and then disappeared. He said this happened in 2006. So that's one of his experiences. And then he also had another one where he recalled hearing footsteps and someone without any shoes. So not only... and he also saw it was a black mass in the shape of a person about 6 feet. So not only was he possibly having aliens, it was also ghost, right? It's possibly ghost and alien at the same time. Best part about this, which is something I pick up, and anytime I see this in an article, I always gotta further mention this. This is again around our nuclear weapons. So there's something with the nuclear weapons. Now, close out of that. When it comes to a lot of the sightings, right, we always mention it's interesting that it's always around nuclear facilities. And the reason that's interesting is because when I've had someone say this to me is, well, the reason they're always saying it's around nuclear facilities is because it's another country of ours. A country that's against us, or it's our military testing technology, which I can see where they're coming from, right? Like, you can see that. If it's around something that's got secrets, that's where you would expect things to trying to be hiding while gathering information. However, there's other life forms that possibly don't have this technology. They have their own technology. That's how they showed the hell up. But it again, they probably have their own technology, but they're interested in the technology. They have their own, but when you go somewhere, you investigate things. Like, I'm a computer guy. I walk into something that's got all the new latest and greatest gadgets. I'm looking, and I'm finding out what it is and what it has and things like that. And even if I go somewhere old where it's like a museum showing old technology, you know, I'm in that mindset of like, how did this work and things along those lines. So again, to them it could be a new technology, or they tried the technology, couldn't get that technology to work, right? And then they found their own way, but they want to see how come we were able to figure it out, right? Again, that's my theory and thought on it. So it's interesting. But again, the fact that it's around the nuclear facility is a reason why you'll hear a lot of people tell you that's why it's another country. So that's what I got on all the news. And again, the update in the beginning, lots of hopeful cool video series in the works. I am working on having some more guests on. Again, hopefully nobody cancels on me this time. But a last thing, and I know I'm saying a lot. It's been a very long week. Again, yesterday was my birthday. So the last thing I did want to bring up, and I'm curious to see what kind of, I guess, reaction or response I get to this, is one of the things I was thinking about with the new site is to invite you guys to be bloggers on the site, right? I'm not doing this for money or anything along those lines, right? I don't know if I've made that clear. I'm here doing this because I believe in this stuff, and I know a lot of other people do believe in this stuff, and I believe there's other places that have tried to create communities and things like that. Like, you have ghost people that, you know, they might follow their certain web series that they watch, Dead Files, Ghost Nation, things like that. But I kind of want to, you know, that's all just ghost, right? And then you have this site, which seems to do an okay job with getting people to, you know, they have a comment section, they have people putting these up. But I was hoping to, you know, maybe we can build our own community where we can report our own sightings, our own ghost stories. And, you know, like I said before, I'm open to having people on that have caught their own evidence or of UFOs or ghosts or things like that. I'm always willing to talk and have more guests on, and, you know, possibly, like I said, I'd like to maybe turn the site into building a community where people can blog and not feel ashamed. You can put it under a moniker for all I care. So if you guys are interested in doing that, I mean, feel free to let me know. Again, I should hopefully have the site finished up this weekend. I just need to make a few tweaks on it. I just wasn't happy with what was coming out, and then again, it was just a hectic week. So guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end it now. I'm going to put this up. You'll get this Monday, January 31st. And then again, hopefully either not the end of this week, the 5th, but the weekend of the 12th, we'll have another episode, and hopefully we'll be set up with the new camera and the new background. But until then, guys, again, check us out on all the social medias. Feel free to reach out. and I will see you guys on the next one.